Welcome to Your Yes-Filled Life. I'm Brenda Winkle, energetic leadership guide, psychic medium, and somatic coach for ambitious leaders who know their gifts are real and who want to stand fully in them. Here, you'll learn how to trust your intuition, embody your vision, and step into the freedom you've been craving, all without chasing more certifications or carrying stuff that does not belong to you. Every week, I'll share powerful practices and conversations with thought leaders and changemakers that help you transform your vision into embodied confidence, claim your gifts without apology, and lead with both clarity and freedom. Because your gifts aren't cute, they're powerful, they're real, and they're needed. Start today by downloading my free energy audit at brendawinkle.com/audit. It's the exact tool I use to track what's fueling me and what's draining me. It will help you discern between that hit of achievement and true joy so that you can lead with more clarity and impact. This is your space to stop proving, start embodying, and live fully in your gifts. Welcome to Your Yes-Filled Life. Hello and welcome to Your Yes-Filled Life. I'm your host, Brenda Winkle. Today on the podcast, we are going to be talking about high pressure situations, how you can move through them. And we're also going to be talking about the very sneaky ways your subconscious or nervous system might be communicating to you that you don't recognize as communication. And the reason that this matters is it has a massive impact on how you are showing up in these high pressure situations, like busy days or busy seasons or stressful work environments, just simply because of the population that you serve, whether that's students in schools or patients in hospitals or medical practices. This episode is going to debunk a lot of myths and give you some really practical tips. Before we begin, let's acknowledge the date. The date that you're going to be listening, or maybe not listening, the date that this podcast goes live is February 22nd, 2026. There are so many twos in that number. And I love this because it always makes me think of numerology and it makes me think of angel numbers. And in angel numbers, the 222 is really a reminder to trust the process. It's sort of an assurance that you're on the right track. So I have been talking about identity on the podcast over the last several weeks. We've talked about identity gaps, moving through identity shifts. And one of the things that I want to really highlight is your subconscious, your nervous system, your body is so intelligent. And we want to celebrate that intelligence. I mean, this system that each of us have inside our bodies is very sophisticated. And when we get ready to do major shifts in our lives, whether that's a conscious identity shift where we're moving from, let's say, one role to another role, we're changing our patterns, we're starting a business or changing a job or changing a relationship status or changing where you live. Anytime we're doing those types of things, your subconscious or your nervous system might read the situation as a potential threat to your identity. And the confusing part of this is your nervous system and your subconscious is right. Your identity is being threatened by the change because when you change, your identity is going to shift. And so we want to acknowledge that everything that's happening is based on the incredible intelligence that each of us have within our bodies, within our somatic systems, and within our subconscious. These are not liabilities. In fact, they're what keep us safe. And we want to learn how to work with them to recognize when our nervous system or our subconscious is perceiving something as a threat that we don't really want it to be perceiving as a threat, so we know how to work with it. So This week, as I was preparing for this podcast episode, I was really listening for the different ways that this shows up for my clients. So, in the last 10 days of clients, I have seen this show up in a multitude of ways. So, let me tell you a couple of stories. I have one client who came to me because he was working through a major life transition from being a full time educator to being in his second year of full time retirement. And his first year of retirement went pretty well, did a little bit of subbing once he got past that 6 month mark and kind of had some fun. And then as the beginning of the second year approached, that was when, for him, he really felt this need to dig deep into his identity. He wants to be of service. He wants to do things that matter. He wants to leave the world a better place. And without the vehicle of being in a classroom, it felt disorienting. And that's why he came to work with me. And so we've been working together since last summer. And this last time that we got together, we were talking about one of the projects that has been on his list to do since the very first time we started talking about working together. And that was he wanted to do some work around the house to free up some of the actual equipment pieces that he needs in order to do some creative work. And this creative work is stuff that he really loves to do. He's good at it. He is able to literally invent things to make that I couldn't conceive of. It just would never happen. It's not how my brain works. But he can see there's a gap in some process. And so he's going to make something with his hands that will fill that gap and literally make people's lives easier and better. And he can't get to the equipment that makes this happen. And this has been going on for months. And finally, we started to do some work around the nervous system and the subconscious and the somatic system. And in that process, we realized that it's not the clutter in the garage, it's not the schedule, it's not even the actual work that has to be done in the garage. It's not that it's overwhelming. It's not that it's hard. The real issue is that there's a little bit of fear around what happens if there's nothing to block me from making these creative things and they aren't what I want them to be, or it's not as easy to be creative, or it's not appreciated by other people. That was the root fear. And until we were able to get to the bottom of that root fear with somatic processing, it felt like the problem we should solve would be the schedule or the to-do list or other things. So that's one example. In another example, I've been running a certification program for a while, and it's the Intuitive Healer Somatic Certification Program. And I'm so proud of the people who have enrolled in this program. And I'm so proud of their progress. And I'm so excited for their graduation, which is coming up. It's on Monday, February 23rd, which, by the way, I don't know if you're interested or not, but you're welcome to come to their graduation. Just send me a message and let me know, and I'll send you the Zoom link, and you can come celebrate them and hear about the process. And one of the members well, they've all been working very hard. And when you're working on becoming an intuitive somatic healer, you're doing intuitive somatic work, holding space for each other and working through your own somatic things that are coming up for you. And there's literally a lot of personal development that goes into becoming certified because you can only lead clients as far as you are willing to go. And so that's one of the reasons why I continue to do my own somatic work with my own somatic coach, Sheena, is because I know I can only go as far as I'm willing to go with my clients, and I want them to continue to grow. And so I keep showing up to do the work. And so I want to normalize that continuing to do our work should be the part of everyone who's in this field. And so I don't want you to think in what I'm going to say next that I don't have the utmost respect for my clients and students because I do. They're doing the work. So we got to the practicum day, which was the culminating event of the certification program. And I won't go into the details of what was happening in that day because it's not relevant to this story. But one of my students felt completely overwhelmed by her family responsibilities on that particular day. And she messaged me and she said, I just don't think I can come. I have too much to do for my family. And I've been doing this work long enough that I said to her very confidently, and also knowing that this would feel confronting to her, I believe that you do have a lot to do. I believe that you do have a lot on your plate. And I also can see that this is your subconscious protecting you. There's something that feels really scary on the other side of this certification. And this is literally the work that you have been doing. You invested in yourself, you've invested money, you've invested time, you've invested energy. I'm not going to make this decision for you. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I do want to tell you this is literally the work. And this is how sneaky our subconscious and nervous systems can be, where they make us feel like it really is that big a deal. I can't possibly show up. Well, long story short, she showed up for our final practicum day. And of course, with flying colors, she completed her certification. But if I was not doing this work and able to say to her, hey, I know you can do this. And I also acknowledge and recognize you do have a lot on your plate. And also, this is a somatic nervous system issue. She would not have graduated. And I'm saying this because I wish there were some times in my life that I had somebody who understood nervous system awareness to say to me, Brenda, you're just afraid on some level, even if you're not consciously aware of it. It would have meant I would have done my master's a lot sooner. It took me 12 years from the time I graduated from college to apply for my master's degree and to start it. 12 years because I was scared. And while I do absolutely love my master's degree in educational leadership, the degree I wanted was choral conducting. And my subconscious, my nervous system made it feel like there were 101 reasons why that wouldn't work. I can't do that because I want to be a mom. I can't do that because my husband at the time was going to school. There can only be one of us in school at a time. I can't do that because fill in the blank with all these reasons that felt completely legitimate and valid. And the truth is, I just had a nervous system subconscious belief that I wasn't good enough. And so I never tried. Do I regret it? I don't know. Regret's weird for me because it would mean not honoring my own path. And I do honor my own path and I'm grateful for my path. But I also recognize that my path could be really different had I had a master's degree in choral conducting, because it would have set me up to have different types of choral jobs and maybe even a doctorate in choral conducting, which has always been sort of like I wonder if I want to do that kind of a question. So I'm saying this because I don't want you to think it's just my clients. It has affected me too. And that was just one of the ways that it affected me. And this is affecting you too. It's so sneaky. Your subconscious, your nervous system is going to do everything it can to keep you safe, to keep you in your current identity. It is going to make it seem like it is the most natural thing in the world for you to put off doing the thing you want to do because your father-in-law's in town, or because it's just not a good time to really post on social media, or because no one really buys things in January and February anyway. So I'll just wait and launch the business later. Or maybe what you're telling yourself is, I really do want to do that business, but I don't think I want it to be as big as I originally said. And then you fill in the blank with all the reasons why. Maybe that's true. Maybe you did make a decision that you don't want your business to be as big as it can be. That is possible. I have seen that happen. And also, maybe it's true that you're having a nervous system or a subconscious response. And so, what we want to really be looking for, and this is the important piece, we want to be looking for how does it feel when you get ready to make a decision? If you feel emotionally neutral around the decision, there's no like, got out of that one, or a little bit of disappointment, or a little bit of relief. If we feel emotionally neutral, then we can be pretty certain that the decision is aligned. If we feel neutral and or excited because we're like, "Ooh, this feels exciting. I really want to do this." But if we feel relief, that probably is a sign of a decision made based on your nervous system or your subconscious. If you notice a little bit of disappointment, that is probably a decision based on your nervous system or your subconscious. So I can give you more examples. When I sold my first house in the Portland area, sold my third house, but sold my first one here. I was navigating the selling of a house, the leaving of a very long career in education, and my daughter moving out into her own apartment at the same time. I was navigating it all. I was quite emotional. There were so many changes that when I made the decision, it felt like I needed to make a decision to put myself directly between my daughter's apartment and her work so that she could drop off her dog Jane to me. I probably have even talked about this on the podcast. And if you listen to those episodes, I sound very convincing because I was pretty darn certain that that was the right choice. But that was the safe choice. That was the choice that my nervous system and my subconscious felt was safe. It wasn't the right choice. And I know it wasn't the right choice because even at the time I made it, I felt just this tiny bit of doubt and just a tiny bit of disappointment like, I feel a little like I'm settling. But I pushed it down, I ignored it, and then 10 months later, I broke the lease because I absolutely hated that apartment. Hated it. Hated it, hated it, hated it for so many reasons. And the last straw was during a rainstorm when it came, like rain came gushing in the window. I was like, and I'm out. But I wasn't choosing from the fullness of me. I wasn't choosing from a regulated nervous system. I was choosing from an activated nervous system. I was choosing from the identity that my nervous system felt safe protecting, not the identity of who I was becoming. So, as we're talking about this, we're talking about the identity gaps, we're talking about why all of these types of things can happen. And for you, as a high achiever, as an empath, you're feeling different pressures energetically anyway. And so, what we want to do is we want to get really clear on is your operating system, your subconscious, your nervous system, talking to the programming, the beliefs that you have outwardly, your conscious beliefs and your goals or desires, are they talking to each other in a way that they can communicate? Because when they're talking to each other in a way that they can communicate, then actions and decisions made from that place will feel so much different. They'll feel aligned. They'll feel lit up. You'll know you're on the right path. Maybe you still feel scared sometimes. I think that's pretty normal. In fact, it would be surprising to me if you didn't feel scared sometimes, but you're going to feel excited. You're going to feel like, ooh, this feels just aligned. It feels right. And if we don't make decisions from that place, we kind of collapse. And then because we're empaths, we can accidentally or inadvertently allow other people to come in and make decisions for us. And then we get to that point in our lives, which happens for so many people when they decide they want to come work with me, where they have lived their life for other people, for the job, or for the partner. And they have put their desires, their dreams, their hopes on the back burner. And I'm here to tell you that it's so much easier than you think to bring those desires, dreams, and goals to the front burner. And will your identity change? Yes, it will. Does that feel scary sometimes? Yes, in fact, it does feel scary sometimes, but it feels the good kind of scary. The kind of like, ooh, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know this is the direction I'm supposed to go. And I want to really normalize that there may always be a little bit of butterfly, like butterflies in your stomach, the little bit of excitement, anticipation, nervousness because you care. I can tell you that every single time I sit down to podcast, I feel that. Every single time I get ready to post on social media, I feel that. It's never done without fear on a certain level. Like there's a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of like, ooh, this feels big. And social media at this point, I've been posting daily for years at this point, like probably 3 years, maybe longer, that I posted almost daily, if not daily. And every single time I go through this little process where I have this choice. Do I want to post today or do I not want to post today? And then it comes back down to who is the person, who is that identity that I want to have? If I want to be the person who is helping millions of people, then I have to show up for myself. I have to show up for you. And so I work through any anxiety or nervousness in order to do it. The feeling of nervousness or anxiety is not a sign to quit. It's not a sign you're on the wrong track. It's a sign you care. So, what I'd like you to do is to regulate the nervous system. Maybe that's tapping or breath work, and then go do the thing that you're feeling just a little bit of nervousness about. Don't use that nervousness or that little bit of anxiety as a sign to stop, as a sign to not do it. And when you make decisions, make it from this completely regulated place. If you decide you don't want as big a business as you originally said, and it's a clean decision, meaning it's that emotional neutrality and or feels really good, you're kind of excited about it, then you know it's the right choice. But if there's any wisp of settling or making yourself small, it's being made, that decision is being made from the subconscious or the nervous system that is not regulated, that's completely activated and really scared. And I'm telling you what, it is sneaky, sneaky, sneaky to recognize. And so if there are times that you don't recognize it, don't beat yourself up. Just acknowledge it as soon as you become aware and then move on to the next thing. And every single time, every single time I feel myself activated, I know there is work to do on me. I might say it's about the other people or the situation or something, but I know ultimately it's about me. It's about my ability to show up for me, to work through the nervous system activation, to work through the subconscious beliefs, and then come into congruence with the larger part of me. So here are the signs that you are activated, that you have some nervous system work to do. If you're angry, if you feel resentment, if you feel a sense of unfairness, if you feel pushing back against anything in this episode, that would probably be a sign that you're in some resistance. I made a post last week, and the post was, this might be confronting, but here's what you need to know. And what I said was exactly what I'm saying to you, only this is more expanded. But essentially, it's if you're not doing the thing and you're telling yourself it's because somebody's in town or you're just too busy or whatever, that's not actually being gentle with yourself. That is letting yourself off the hook. And boy, it was confronting. There were a lot of comments across all my platforms about, well, no, you got this wrong. The metaphor doesn't work. And I'm like, Exhibit A, you're making this about computers and I'm making it about your nervous system, but you continue to make it about your computers. And it's not about the freaking computers. It's about the fact that you have a nervous system or a subconscious that is hijacking your ability to make the aligned decisions that you really want to make. Whenever we're making something about somebody else or some other situation, and not taking full responsibility for it and not taking overly responsibility for it. Like, if it's not your fault, well, then it's not your fault. But when I'm activated about something that my sister says, it's not about my sister, it's about me. It's about some part of me that has been disowned or had unmet needs as a child or as a protector part that just wants things to be fair. And when I tend to those parts, all of a sudden I can see the situation differently. And that's the work that we're doing inside the Intuitive Leader Retreat. Registration is only open for a few more days. The registration link is brendawinkle.com/retreat 2026. That's brendawinkle.com/retreat 2026. The work we're going to be doing at this retreat over 3 days is aligning your internal programming with your operating system so that we can get you out of that very sneaky nervous system response so that you can take the actions that you want. Last week, one of the people who's registered for this retreat, she came in time to get the bonus calls. And so we've been working together over the bonus calls, and it has been so rewarding. And last week she came in and she was a tiny bit frustrated. And she was saying, I really just need some frameworks. And I was thinking to myself, okay, I've given you 4 or 5 frameworks, but yeah, let's go ahead and go down this road. Let's talk about the frameworks. And so she said she needed some frameworks for something that she's working on. So I gave her the frameworks, a little bit different version this time. And we decided that we were going to have her do the thing that she had been thinking about doing while we were together on the call. And so I was quiet for a few minutes and she was quiet. She was working. And all of a sudden she looks up and she's like, I don't know what to do. Now, this is somebody who's very well educated, very intelligent. We had just talked about the frameworks. And as soon as she had a moment to actually do the thing, her brain convinced her she didn't know what to do. That is the nervous system / subconscious trying to protect her. And I'm sure you can see yourself in this because I know I can see myself in this. That's why I recognize this so easily, is because I have it in me to do this too. And so I said, okay, hang on a second. We're not going to actually solve this problem around I don't know what to do, because that's not the problem. Instead, we did the somatic processing. We got to the bottom of it. And guess what? She was able to do the thing that she wanted to do. And I'm making it sound really simple because it is simple. It is simple. But she had to be willing to show up to do the work. She had to be willing to hear, hey, it's not about the frameworks. It's about the subconscious programming, the belief. And really, in all the work that I've done, I've been in this space for more than 10 years now. And I've been working with clients for more than 10 years. So even though I've only been full-time for 4.5 years, I've been in this space for 10 years. And what I see is there's a handful of root beliefs that keep people activated and keep people in this pattern where they can't even recognize that they're in a nervous system response because it's so sneaky. And those beliefs are, I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. If I do this, I'm going to lose all of the people I love. Fear of judgment, fear of rejection. Really, those are the handful. Are there some variations on that? Sure. But even in myself, when I do my own somatic processing, those are always the things that come up. And so we can dress those up a lot of different ways. But at the end of the day, those are the really deep rooted fears that most of us have. And the other one that I didn't mention is I'm not lovable, which is a big one for a lot of people. So at this retreat, we are going to do some somatic processes. It's not going to be a ton of talking. I'm not a therapist. And nothing I offer is therapy. In fact, I don't offer therapy. This is not a replacement for your mental health professionals. This is not a replacement for your medical professionals because I'm not a medical professional, even though I'm a healer. What this is somatic. And through the somatic processing, we're going to get to the bottom of what is that belief so that we can begin to shift it. It's pretty awesome. We have spots left. If you want one, you'll need to act very quickly because registration closes on February 26th. And I have to tell you, I'm kind of excited because my birthday is this week. And I have been doing my own somatic work, which I talked about. I had historically had kind of a hard time with birthdays. And I had several years that bad things happened on my birthday. And I won't go into it, but my birthday brings up a lot for me. And so it takes courage for me to trust that the people in my life will celebrate me in a way that feels celebratory, even though it's happened many, many times. Um, and there's a lot of evidence to show that the people in my life can show up to celebrate me in a way that feels really nourishing. There's just that little part in me that's always just a little nervous. But this year, one of my friends said she would like to plan a party for me, and I'm letting her. I'm letting her. And it feels really um like my heart's pounding, but I feel really excited about it. And my daughter and I are going to go out for dinner at a Vietnamese place in downtown Portland. And I've got some fun things planned. There's a dance night, and it just feels really good. And the reason I do this somatic work is because I know what it feels like to want more than anything to feel better, just to feel a little bit of relief, to feel a little bit of hope, to feel like it won't always be like this when things are hard and heavy and lonely and sad. And I want to assure you, things just get better and better and better and better. And the big boundaries that you set this week, I'm celebrating you. I know that's taken a lot of courage, and I'm just celebrating you and congratulating you. You know who you are. And congratulations on showing up for yourself in a way you've never shown up for yourself before. I'm celebrating you. Congratulations. You know who you are. I'm proud of you. You are doing really good work. Keep going. Keep going. It gets better and better and better. And the more somatic work you do, the happier you are and the less you'll tolerate feeling bad, which creates an interesting cycle because you keep doing somatic work because you're like, ooh, that feels bad. I can't have that. I have to get to a better feeling spot. So I'm incredibly grateful to my own somatic coach and to be able to do this work with you. And so, so, so grateful. So go register for the retreat if that feels like something you are called to do. You already know. So don't let me convince you of anything. You already know. If it's for you, great. Get yourself signed up. Stop making excuses. If it's not for you, great. Just come back to the podcast and listen when it's the right time for you. And I have something really special coming down the line for you in just a few more weeks that is going to change the way you sleep, you rest, you process, you feel, you show up in your life in the most beautiful ways. Thank you so much for listening to your Yes Filled Life podcast. I offer this as a free service, as a free gift to you. It is not free to me. It's not free for me to host. It's not free for my time. It's not free for my bandwidth, my emotional energy, my planning. And in the spirit of reciprocity, if you could please give the podcast a rating, review, and share it with people, it just means so, so much. Thanks for being here. Bye for now. Happy Pisces season. Until next time.